Thank you very much. I haven't got a whole lot to add to what the President of Council has just said, which I think was a very good summary of the discussions of today. We had an opportunity to discuss the issue of direct payments again. We still see that there's a lot of support for the idea that we should move away from historical reference. Nevertheless, there are discussions about internal convergence, how we can achieve that without affecting holdings too seriously, because obviously holdings will be affected by internal convergence. It's clear as far as I'm concerned, and I said I don't want greening to become a greenwash, and I don't want internal convergence to become a sham internal convergence. I want real convergence, although I am prepared to discuss how we achieve this, particularly how we achieve the transition. But we really have to achieve convergence at the end of the day. And then on the subject of young farmers, I was glad to see that there was a majority, a consistent majority in favor of the idea of having specific measures for young farmers. I stressed, and I will continue to stress, the need to have a common approach for young farmers. I said this today to the ministers. Certain member states are unhappy with the word obligatory, and I'd be happy, instead of talking about an obligatory approach, to talk about a common approach, so that all member states have measures to support young farmers, not because it's obligatory. And the word obligatory doesn't mean that you're trammeling member states, but just because we have a single market, we have a common policy in this area, and I think we should have a common policy when it comes to the establishment of young farmers. It should not be optional. Member states should not be able to decide whether or not to do it. We can discuss what measures member states would take, and nothing stops member states from having national policies as well. There's a whole issue of land registers, and there's a whole issue of social policy, which is of national competence. But that doesn't mean that we can't have a policy throughout the EU to assist young farmers starting out. I also presented a legislative proposal that the Commission came up with recently about the transparency of the use of the agricultural budget. I'm not going to say any more about it because I did have an opportunity to present this to you at a press conference in the Commission the day that the College took the decision. I'd stress once again why I think it's so important to have this legislation in place, and why we're making the proposal now, so that we can put it forward in the context of the reform of the common agricultural policy.